Have you ever locked eyes with someone and felt an instant connection, like they were made just for you? Stop right there. Mel Robbins would tell you, feelings can fool you, especially when they're triggered by patterns you don't even know exist. Here's the hard truth. That connection might be nothing more than a subconscious trap, a hidden projection Carl Jung exposed decades ago. The real reason men chase women who reject them, only to pull away once they win her. It's a cycle, ruining relationships every single day. Silently, invisibly, over 90% of women fall for it, without knowing. So if you're tired of chasing love that was never real to begin with, subscribe now, because this conversation could save you years of heartbreak. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, uncovered a disturbing force in the male psyche, a subconscious obsession with the unattainable. Men are often drawn not to the real woman in front of them, but to a fantasy, a projection their own mind creates when you pull away. And the more you pull away, the more they project, until they're chasing a dream, not a human being. But once that fantasy collides with reality, the magic dies, and so does the relationship. This is why you've seen men chase you like their life depends on it, only to turn cold the moment you open your heart. Mel Robbins calls this living on autopilot, awakens. When you let unconscious patterns drive your life without stopping to question them. Today, we're going to take you off that autopilot, one bold truth at a time. We're breaking this down into 5 core psychological mechanisms Carl Jung identified, and how they still trap women in destructive love patterns today. Mechanism 1, the projection of the inner woman, Anima. Have you ever wondered why a man gets more obsessed when you pull away? Here's Jung's answer, and Mel's take on why you need to pay attention. Jung discovered that every man carries an unconscious image of the ideal woman, his Anima, inside his mind. This inner figure isn't you. It's a projection from his subconscious. When you pull away or become emotionally distant, you stop giving him real data about who you are. And that blank space? He fills it with his fantasy. Result? His attraction skyrockets. Not because of who you are, but because of the illusion he created in his own head. Mel Robbins would say, if he's falling for a fantasy, that's not your responsibility. That's his unresolved baggage. The painful truth? Once you stop being mysterious and start being real, that illusion shatters, and so does his obsession. This explains why so many men chase obsessively and disappear once they win you over. Think back. How many times have you been adored only for the love to vanish once you got close? Chances are, it wasn't you he was chasing. It was the ghost of his own subconscious. Mechanism 2. Emotional scarcity. The unattainable becomes irresistible. Now, brace yourself. This next mechanism is rooted in a painful human truth that nobody likes to admit. Jungian psychology reveals that men unconsciously assign more value to what they can't have. Emotional unavailability triggers an ancient scarcity instinct. The harder something is to get, the more the subconscious craves it. Mel calls this out often. You're not a trophy. Stop letting scarcity define your worth. So when a woman stays emotionally available, supportive, and always present, she's often seen as less desirable by men trapped in this primitive pattern. But when she becomes distant, unavailable, she flips the scarcity switch. That's why a man may chase after a woman who ignores him, while overlooking the one who gives him genuine care and attention. Ask yourself, have you ever been magnetically drawn to someone who barely noticed you, while you ignored someone who was ready to love you for real? This isn't just about attraction. It's about a subconscious script you didn't know you were following. And if you don't learn to spot it, you'll keep chasing the wrong people. Or worse, allowing them to chase you for all the wrong reasons. If you've ever felt trapped in a cycle of chasing or being chased, and you're ready to break free from toxic attraction patterns, drop a comment below and hit subscribe. Let's break this pattern together. We've already uncovered two critical mechanisms: projection and emotional scarcity. Now let's push deeper into Carl Jung's discoveries, paired with the bold wake-up calls Mel Robbins would want every woman to hear loud and clear. Mechanism 3, the archetype of the unattainable, the mythological trap. Jung revealed that buried deep in the collective male unconscious is the archetype of the unattainable virgin, an ancient image of the woman who is pure, distant, and impossible to possess. This isn't some old myth. It's a psychological force still shaping how men relate to women, often without them realizing it. When you pull away or remain mysterious, you awaken this archetype in a man's mind. And once it's triggered, he's no longer reacting to you. He's reacting to a symbolic figure from deep inside his unconscious, a fantasy he's been carrying long before he ever met you. Mel Robbins would say it like this: stop letting other people use you to work out their unresolved issues. You are not a prop in someone else's story. The tragedy? Many women mistake this reaction for genuine love. They believe they've met the one, when in fact, they've become a character in someone else's inner fairy tale. How many times have you heard a man say, "I've never felt this way before. You've changed me," only for that magic to evaporate within weeks or months? That wasn't real transformation. It was projection, and its collapse was inevitable. Ask yourself, would you rather be passionately adored for a fantasy or genuinely loved for who you really are? Mechanism 4, the shadow wound, when pain seeks familiar pain. This mechanism may hit the hardest because it reveals a darker side of human attraction. Jung called it the shadow, the parts of ourselves we reject, deny, or suppress. When a man fixates on a woman who rejects him, often it's not about desire. It's about trying to heal his own shadow wound. He's subconsciously seeking out the exact kind of rejection that confirms his deepest fears, the fear of not being enough, of being unworthy of love. Mel Robbins preaches this constantly. If you don't heal the wound, you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you. Ever noticed how insecure men often fall hardest for emotionally distant women? It's no accident. They're trying to rewrite their own painful story by winning over someone who repeats that same pattern. But here's the kicker. Even if they succeed, it doesn't heal the wound. It only deepens the dysfunction, often turning love into a toxic cycle of obsession, control, and eventual abandonment. If you recognize this pattern in your relationships, it's time for a serious pause. Because without awareness, this cycle repeats again and again. Mechanism 5, the mirror effect, when you become his reflection. Jung's final and deepest insight explains why so many women get trapped in dead-end emotional entanglements. It's called individuation, the process of becoming whole. For men, this often involves confronting their repressed feminine side, and when a woman becomes distant or emotionally elusive, she unknowingly becomes a mirror, not a person, a reflection. Instead of seeing you for who you are, he's chasing a glimpse of the parts of himself he's been avoiding. Mel Robbins sums this up perfectly. If they can't face themselves, they'll try to fix themselves through you. Don't let them. This explains why some relationships feel magnetic at first, only to leave you feeling used, drained, or invisible. Because you weren't being loved, you were being used as a mirror for someone else's self-discovery. And here's the hardest truth of all. You might be doing the same thing. Just like men project their inner woman onto distant partners, women project their inner masculine onto unavailable men. That love at first sight feeling, it might just be your own unconscious projection, not real connection. If any of these truths hit you hard, if you're seeing your past relationships in these patterns, comment below with, "I'm done with the projection trap." And make this your line in the sand moment. Because real connection only happens when you stop playing someone else's mirror and start living as your full, authentic self. You've just learned the 5 mechanisms Carl Jung identified, and you've seen how Mel Robbins would challenge you to stop being anyone's mirror. Now, let's talk about how you spot these traps before they consume your peace, and how you break free before they steal more years of your life. The 5 warning signs you've become someone's projection screen. Here are 5 red flags that scream, you're being used as a projection, not loved for who you are. 1. Idealization that feels unreal. It starts with intense flattery. You're different. I've never met anyone like you. It feels like I've known you forever. Sound familiar? Mel Robbins would tell you, be suspicious of fast intimacy. It's often a red flag, not a compliment. When someone places you on a pedestal before they truly know you, they're not seeing you. They're seeing the fantasy they want you to be. 2. Obsession fueled by your rejection. Here's a dark pattern you've likely seen before. The moment you pull back, they flood you with attention, gifts, constant messages, grand declarations of love. It feels flattering until you realize it's not about love at all. It's about them chasing their own fear of rejection. Mel would say, "Attention is cheap." Real love is built in the boring moments when no one's chasing anyone. When someone obsesses over you only when you pull away, that's not love. That's addiction to the chase. 3. Fascination with your mystery, not your reality. Watch. Out for this, they're endlessly curious about what you're hiding, but they lose interest when you open up. They want to guess what you're thinking, not listen when you tell them. They're chasing the mystery, not connecting with the real you. And the moment the mystery fades, so does their interest. 4. Near mystical transformation. That never lasts. They'll say things like, "You make me feel alive again." "You've changed me." It sounds magical. It feels intoxicating. But here's the raw truth. It's not about you. They're experiencing a psychological high. A projection-fueled fantasy that will burn out the moment reality sets in. Mel Robbins warns, don't fall for the love bomb. Fall for consistency. 5. The sudden collapse and the inevitable disappearance. This is the harshest reality of all. Once they win you, the interest dies. The passion fades. Sometimes they pull away completely. Other times, they stay but act cold, distant, even resentful. Why? Because the projection shattered, and now they see the real you, a person they were never ready for. Mel would ask you straight, why are you letting someone's unresolved trauma become your heartbreak? Stop playing the mirror. Now here's the liberating truth you've been waiting for. The real power of knowing this, it's not about manipulating anyone. It's about finally seeing when you're being dragged into someone else's unconscious drama and choosing to step out before it wrecks you, because you are not a mirror. You are not a projection. You are not someone's unfinished business. You are a full, complex human being who deserves authentic, grounded love. And that starts when you stop playing roles you didn't audition for. What to do next? Reflect on your past relationships. Did you see any of these 5 signs? Be honest with yourself. Share your story in the comments. Your experience could help another woman see her worth before it's too late. Subscribe and turn on notifications. We're diving deeper into Jung's insights, right? I interi inchios, and how they can help you break free from toxic patterns. Decide today to stop accepting fast, obsessive love. Real love takes time. Real love isn't a game of projections. The final bold truth: you are not his childhood wound. We have to end with the hardest, but most freeing, truth of all. Carl Jung's research revealed something few therapists even talk about. When a man becomes obsessed after you pull away, he's not reacting to you. He's reacting to his unresolved childhood wound, often rooted in his relationship with his mother. That little boy inside the grown man is still chasing the love, validation, or attention he didn't get as a child. And when you become distant, you trigger that ancient wound, which makes him chase you. Not out of love, but out of fear. Mel Robbins calls this out in relationships all the time. It's not your job to heal someone's inner child. Heal yourself, and let them do the same. Your power is in your awareness. When you recognize projection, it loses its grip on you. That's how you take back your power, not by playing hard to get, but by refusing to be caught in someone else's unconscious games. And if this message stirred something inside you, don't ignore it. Comment below. Share this with a friend who needs to hear it. And subscribe for more bold truths that won't just wake you up, they'll set you free.